The number of attacks on U.S. forces in the Middle East now totaling 66. The U.S. responding quicker to this latest attack. With me now, former Defense Secretary under former President Donald Trump, Mark Esper. I'm curious first, does the speed at which the U.S. responds after a proxy attack happens matter?
Yes, it does matter. It's important to show a quick resolve and determination. And look, we've been at this now for several weeks, and as you've noted, 66 attacks. We've responded now to 4 of them. And of those 66 attacks, over 60 U.S. service members have been injured, anything from shrapnel to traumatic brain injury. Our response is simply inadequate, and the Iranians and their proxies are not being deterred.
Yeah, and that was my next question. I mean, what level of force do you think we need then in order to get them to stop?
Well, I think you have to increase the scope, scale, and frequency of the attacks. You know, I recall when I was Defense Secretary in late 2019, there was an attack on our forces, an American was killed. And we responded in one evening with multiple airstrikes against multiple targets. And we ended up killing, I think, 25 militiamen, injuring twice as many as that. And we saw the attack subside for a while. So I think that's the type of response you need if you want to deter Iranian misbehavior. And look, I know what the administration will say. Well, they're preventing escalation. I would argue just the opposite. When you don't show adequate resolve, they will keep pushing, and it actually could lead to an escalation if you're not careful.
Yeah, it's interesting to say that earlier today on Fox Business, I spoke with former CIA Director David Petraeus. Listen to what he told me about getting the proxies to back off. Listen to this.
I don't think that we want to go directly against Iran. I don't think Iran wants to go directly against us. They're happy to work through proxies. But we may have to increase the responses that we've had, the retaliation for the provocations that they have issued.
So, and he served under President Obama. So why is this administration unwilling to take stronger measures against those proxies or go directly after Iran?
You know, I've given credit for President Biden for his moral clarity with regard to this response to the attack by Hamas against Israel. I've credited the Pentagon for the moves it's made with regard to the forces moving into the Eastern Mediterranean and the Middle East. But I got to tell you, the common thread with regard to this White House is we often seem self-deterred and too afraid to take the appropriate steps, whether it's supplying the Ukrainians the arms and equipment they need in time to defeat the Russians, or now responding forcefully and frequently enough to stop the escalating attacks that are being perpetrated by Iran's proxies. We're just not there yet. We need to match them strike for strike and actually double down on what we do.
I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about Israel and Hamas. We have seen now there's a debate going on within the war cabinet as to whether they should go forward with this hostage deal that they have been talking about over time. Do you feel like, in exchange, there's going to be a pause for some period of time? Now, you're familiar with military operations. Are you concerned that any type of pause for an operation would give Hamas a chance to regroup, or do you think that that has to happen in order to get these hostages out?
Yes, I think it has to happen in order to get the hostages out. And look, clearly this is being done for humanitarian reasons. There's a lot of political pressure on the Netanyahu government to bring back some of the hostages. And by the way, these are people that should never have been taken in the first place by Hamas. So let's not be confused here. This is not a humanitarian gesture by Hamas. I think this is long about their plans. They intended to go on October 7th into Israel to take innocent civilians captive and then to bring them back to Gaza in order to swap them. And so now they will get a 3-to-1 swap deal. So I think this is their plan all along. But look, I think it's something that the Israeli government needs to do. It will certainly benefit Hamas militarily. They will use the 4 or 5 days to regroup, to refit, to rest, to reposition, do all those things that they need to do. I hope the Israelis will stay on top of them. And look, we know the next phase coming up here will be a push into the south. And that's going to be even trickier given that there's a greater density of people there. And we know that Hamas has mostly moved its capabilities to southern Gaza at this point in time.
Before you go, I just have 15 seconds left, but I want to get your take on this. Elsewhere in the region, we saw that Yemeni's Houthi rebels, backed by Iran, seized a cargo ship in the Red Sea. It was linked to an Israeli company, but British-owned, Japanese-operated, but it was close to the Suez Canal. That is important in itself, right? How close it was to that canal.
Well, we definitely have to keep the Suez Canal open. But look, all these things, whether it's the seizure of the ship or the shooting down of an American drone, there have to be responses, because if there's no response, if there's no penalty, they will keep doing it over again, whether it's the Houthis in Yemen or the militias in Syria or Iraq. They will just keep pressing until they get what they want.
Right. Well, former Defense Secretary Mark Esper, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.